The comic book industry is closing out the year with some of the biggest books throughout this last month of December. And this week might just be the biggest one of the month because we have some huge books on tap. And I am so excited for this week's edition of Pals Pools. And we're going to talk to you about the books that we are looking forward to and all that other good stuff here on Pals Previews. So, the way we start this, of course, as always, is we're going to let you know what you can expect us to be talking about this Thursday on Pals Polls. These are the 5 books that made the docket. And of course, up first, as if it could be any other way, is Absolute Batman
Oh,
#3. This is, of course, written by Scott Snyder with art by Nick Dragata, colors by Frank Martin, letters by Clayton Cowles. And we have Batman versus Black Mask. Batman has been waging war with Black Mask and his crew of goons. He's been teaming up with Alfred, who is not Batman's butler. He is a soldier, a spy unto himself. And so, can these two clean up the streets of Gotham? Has sort of been the question that Absolute Batman has been posing. This week, we're going to learn a little bit more about that.
so I guess this would be the finale of this opening arc because issue 4 is kind of a flashback. Um, so it'd be nice to see how Snyder wants to kind of put a bow on this opening here.
I
Um,
don't know if this has to be the end of the arc.
I
I'm not
guess
sure.
not. Yeah, you could just do an interstitial flashback with 4.
Yeah, I think that I'm excited. I'm just excited for this momentum, man.
Yeah,
Last time we got to see all like the villains, or what we assume as the villains from our main line, playing that poker match, and then we had the building sized Batmobile. I just want to see more balls to the walls and what we could do here. And this being a conflict, I can only imagine how Dragoda is going to be, you know, over the top.
advance forward, right? AF.
Yeah,
Hell
yeah,
yeah.
that was cool.
We've also got New Gods #1. DC coming in hot. They're ending the year with a banger of a book. I mean, not that we've read it, but all of the early scuttlebutt is that New Gods is tremendous. Rob V, Evan Cagle, Francesco Segala. And then each issue of New Gods is going to have a special artist doing some sequence. And this one is going to feature Jorge Fornia. So if there wasn't already reason enough to pick this book up, Jorge Fornes is going to be a part of it as well. Stellar creative team. I have no familiarity with the New Gods outside of the ones everyone knows.
Yeah.
So this will be my first time reading a New Gods book. Probably the first time a lot of people are reading a New Gods book. And this is one where I just think you need to get in on the ground floor. You have to go buy this.
In my time reading DC Comics, I do not remember there being a New Gods ongoing actively published.
No.
Which is nuts that they're finally doing it. And then the fact that it's Ron V and Evan Cagle, who I just finished Dawn Runner. Insane book. Evan Cagle
Nice.
kills it in that. And I know he's early into sequentials. Um, but god damn, this the previews of this alone have me chomping at the bit.
Yeah. Excited to see the. I'm excited to see the big concepts that I know he can deliver on, that he can kind of communicate to us, and so it's exciting to. It's exciting to finally get this in the hand. I feel like we've been teased with this so much for so long that I just want to get it, read it. Yeah, I'm so excited for this one. This one I'm calling out, I think.
Challengers of the Unknown is another #1 that DC is dropping on us this week. It's got another great creative team, Christopher Cantwell teaming up with Sean Isaac, Romulo Fajardo Jr. on colors, Hassan Otsman Al Howe on the letters. I mean, you could tell me that creative team for a bunch of different books, and I would say, sounds great, sign me up. But they're working on Challengers of the Unknown, another title that's sort of on the periphery of DC's publishing line that they're giving a shot here in All In, picking up directly after what we got in the All In special. The Challengers of the Unknown were, if I remember correctly, the team that Darkseid was working with or whatever. And so now they're getting their own series, but it's not obviously not the same exact team. So This is what the solicit reads. Only one band of super scientists have the right stuff to challenge the fate of the universe. Enter the Challengers of the Unknown, alongside the Justice League, where the Challengers run day to day operations for the massive watchtower base in orbit above Earth. The team must work with Superman, Batman, and Wonder Woman and the rest of the League to seal the rifts that threaten the galaxy. But a mysterious foe from the Challengers' past lurks in the shadows, and its connection to the God Shock will put the DCU on borrowed time.
I'm currently reading Cantwell's Plastic Man No More, which is really, really good.
Yeah.
I highly recommend it. So seeing Cantwell kind of play in the actual continuity of DC is going to be fun. And I like the idea of like challengers kind of being the only real like normal, quote unquote, normal humans on the Watchtower. Like these are just scientists. These are just it's like Star Labs people that are on the Watchtower with Superman and Batman and Shazam and all that stuff, and how the humanity aspect kind of ties in to this. They are ants in an ant farm essentially,
Mm.
and how does that work? And we already saw in the question all along the Watchtower, one of them got off pretty quickly. So these are expendable. These are a whole bunch of red shirts on the Watchtower.
Right.
So this could be a lot of fun.
They're literally wearing red too, which is funny.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Like, and I like the adventuring aspects of Challengers of the Unknown. The only place I know them from are from like an 80, not even a 70s run. And it just so happened that like there was a crossover with Swamp Thing, and I kind of worked a little bit going backwards. Yeah, it always leads back to that. It's always one green path. And so them just being that aspect of being scientists, of being wrapped up in some kind of discovery, is hits my kind of where I like to live with books. Maybe they're going to teach something, maybe they're not, but it's sci-fi and it's discovery, and that's fun to me.
Now, the two highest selling direct market comics of the year are undoubtedly Absolute Batman and Ultimate Spider Man. And on this week, we have both of them dropping. I told you it was a huge week. That's an incredible fact. These books are going to go head to head this week. And Ultimate Spider Man is bringing out the big guns because Marco Cicchetto is back on main series art with colors by Matt Wilson, letters by Corey Pettit, of course, written by Jonathan Hickman. And the cover has Peter Parker wearing Santa garb. He's got the Santa hat, the jacket. So it looks like it's going to be a Christmas themed or issue, rather. We don't know a lot about it, but as ever, I'm excited to see what they have in store.
Well, you described the cover, so I'm assuming we won't get that in the comic.
Yeah, yeah, that's
So
great.
Fair play.
it's gonna be a Halloween issue.
Yo, the man, this needs momentum. I'm excited to try to like this book, to love this book. I want to, and I've been a little disappointed with the series so far, but that doesn't mean that we can't trust the creative team. For however long Marco's here for, maybe just this issue. But while he is, I feel like I'm getting good eats. And then Hickman, I think the writing's solid, but the story needs a little more momentum for me.
Sure.
Yeah, it's.
We
I was gonna say for Ultimate Spider-Man, it's a little frustrating because I know it is a good comic. The craft is there, but yeah, it's missing something for me. So I'm hoping Chichetto back on the book might give it a little bit of a shock.
It's been missing holiday cheer, Tyler.
I need some of that.
We also got G.I. Joe #2 on the docket. Joshua Williamson, Tom Riley, Jordi Belair. The last issue was a ton of fun. The debut issue, I think, knocked a lot of people on their ass, and we had a great time with it. This issue is going to introduce us to the Valkyries, who are Cobra agents. So if you thought that things were really bad in the first issue for G.I. Joe's team, it sounds like things are going to get worse with issue 2.
Joe, I'm ready for the action. Yeah, man.
Almost got the theme song. Almost there. You went for it, and then you realized, I don't know it.
Nope, nope. I feel like the action of this book is a lot of fun. Seeing the connecting pieces come together is really rewarding, especially since we've been kind of on the Energon train. And so now this and how this ladders up into bigger things, I only see this as similarly forward propulsion and potential. There's so much to expand out here from that the little in between fights that we're gonna get are gonna be a lot of fun.
Yeah, and we've been introduced to a lot of these characters in the side books already, so
Yeah.
it'd be curious, kind of like live with them for a little bit for an issue.
Now, those are the 5 books that we are definitely talking about on the show. They've made the docket. There is one more book that we're going to review, though, and that's the one that you guys choose because youtube.com/the comics pals under the community tab is where you can vote for the 6th and final book. We leave that up to you, and you've got 4 indie options right now.
Four.
Uh, the Moon is following us, number 4. There is a typo. It says 5, it's 4. Rocket Fellers, number 2. The Power Fantasy, number 5. And TMNT, number 5. So 4 great indie titles that are very early on into their runs. Which one do you want us to follow? Which one do you want to add to this stellar slate of books? Go vote. Let your voice be heard. Tell us what you want us to review.
Please.
Which of the books that is on the docket do you think will be your pick of the week this week?
I'm calling it for New Gods. I think that that is the cross section for me from a creative standpoint for uh, where Ram V can tell an engaging story, and there's so much interest there that I'm just hungry for that book. So much so that I think that outright that'll be the pick of the week.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think it's New Gods for me. I just that's just the ingredients in that soup is something I want to eat. God, I'm hungry. It looks like. I think Challenge of the Unknown though is an unknown quantity, and I
Yeah,
think there could be a surprise, but my gut tells me New Gods.
unknown quantity to challenge New Gods.
Mm.
I'm gonna go with Absolute Batman. It hasn't disappointed me yet. I think it's tremendous. Um, Challenger, or rather, New Gods could be the book to knock it off its perch. Don't know, but I'm confident in Absolute Batman, so that's what I'm gonna run with. And you can hear if we're right or wrong by tuning in Thursday to Pals Pools. And do we know ourselves that well? Do we know our tastes that well?
And little do you know, as soon as we stop recording something, what we just recorded leaves our memory, so we won't know by the time Palaceables comes around. That's 3 days.
That's just you.
Oh,
Um,
I'll make that joke
Now,
next week too.
speaking of taste, here's a little flavor of the book that we each are most excited about that's not going to make the show. These are our honorable mentions. I'll kick it off with The Sacrificers. This is issue 13. It's still very early in its run. I am a lover of Rick Remender's work. I think Rick Remender is insanely talented, and this book has been I think, one of Rick's best series, and it doesn't hurt to have Max Fiumara on the art, who is a tremendous artist, was on our list actually last year in contention for best artist during the Pallies because of the Sacrificers. So
Mm.
it's been a full year of this book. It's been amazing. Buy this comic book. You gotta read it. It's so good.
The fact that you just told me it's issue 13 kind of blew my mind because I'm like, oh, I'm in issue 3. I'm almost there. I'm like, oh, no, I'm way behind.
Yeah, not quite.
Need to catch up on that one. That's I remember it being a fun, good start of a series.
Marco, you want to go next?
Yeah, mine is a boom book. It is Man's Best Friend by Pornsak Piachot, Jesse Lonergan, and Jeff Powell. Fun fact: Jesse Lonergan was actually my first spotlight with Faster, and so he's back on sequentials with Pornsak, who I think is a really talented writer. And I want to get this book now that's collected. Believe it's only 6 issues, but it's a kind of pets are wandering space. They're looking for a new home in the within outer space. There's been a tragedy on the planet, and now they are just trying to find in their suits where they can go find their next home. And so, very excited for this. I love Jesse's work, and I'm really confident in Pornsak's ability to tell a meaningful story, to be emotional. Um, yeah, go pick this up if you're interested, and if you've read it already, let me know how you liked it. I'll probably have it read by. I have a flight this Sunday. I'll probably have it done by then.
Cool. I will go with mine, and that is John Constantine, Hellblazer, Dead in America, number 11. So this is the final issue of Cy Spurrier and Aaron Campbell's follow-up series from their original Hellblazer run. This one's set in the U.S., and it really is a cross-country trip throughout the U.S. The fact that the cover alone has Dream of the Endless holding Swamp Thing, who's holding Constantine, like the most religious way possible, and it's not Marco Spotlight. Come on, Marco, what are you doing?
Yeah, not yet. I'm waiting for it to drop all of them on
Fair,
the
fair.
DC app so I could read
It's
it.
really good. It is it every issue kind of is this cross country trip throughout the U.S. and tackles bits of U.S. Um, myth and folklore, and then we started off I think in Florida, and we're now in L.A. at this point. So the issue of the past issue or two has dealt with the idea of Hollywood and the American dream of going to Hollywood, but like mixed with the idea of like tulpas, and if you believe in something enough, does it become true? Um, and is that all a lie? Is Hollywood a lie? Uh, it's wild that this is the story that it's gotten into. And Spurrier is just doing some tremendous work here. Probably one of my favorite books of the year. Um, I highly recommend this book. It's a lot of fun. It's dark, but it's also they got that Constantine kind of just wit to it. Making humor in some of the most fucked up shit possible. Uh, and then Dream and Sandman, and Swamp Thing are in this as well. Kind of playing side characters. Really, really, really phenomenal stuff.
It's been feeling like the reverse American Gothic line or arc of Swamp Thing, where similarly they go through some of the big um, tropes of American history. The Winchester House as a mystery.
It's in
The
this. Winchester House is actually in this too. Yeah.
But then they're definitely pulling from the Alan Moore stuff. It seems.
Well, the last thing we've got to do here is the spotlight. And we're going to put the spotlight once again on Mr. Marco, who is going to share his thoughts now about a book that he can't get out of his mind.
So I am a big fan of James Bond series. I pick them up when I can. The most recent Philip Kennedy Johnson run I wasn't too big into, but there were some older books that I still have and I haven't caught up to yet. So I'm making the charge to do so. This is by Kieran Gillen and Antonio Fuso, James Bond 007 Service. It's a one shot, so it's a small little book, and it's just a fun romp. He has to stop the potential assassination of a U.S. Not attorney general, speaker. And
Politician.
he's visiting the UK for some reason, and James is on the trail of a potential cell of British nationalists, and from there action and mystery ensue. A quick read, realistically like 40, 50 pages, if that. The next one I have on the docket is Andy Diggle and I'm forgetting the artist's name, but Hammerhead, which is an earlier series of James Bond.
The artist's
And
name was Hammerhead. I was like, oh, well, okay.
no.
That'd be cool.
Hammerhead is the that arc um, of James Bond. But I recommend it. I'm a big fan of spy books. I wish there were more in the big two, but they seem to get relegated to a Dynamite and IDW. Whoever has the IP. One of the reasons I really liked Human Target, it's in that vein a little bit, but for me, a good spy romp is a lot of fun. So I'm excited to be digging back into some older books that I've just doing cleanup.
All right. So we're going to leave it there. Thank you, Marco. And thank you to everybody for tuning in. We appreciate you watching. Let us know what books you are most excited about this week. Do you think that any of the books that we talked about are going to be your pick of the week? Let us know. Let us know what you think your pick of the week might be, what you're looking forward to, all that good stuff. We will see you on Thursday for Pals Pulls. Tune in to hear our thoughts about all the books we talked about today. We will see you then. Until then, take care, guys.
See you next week.